The American Revolution was not just a military revolution. It was also a social and political revolution to determine what kind of nation America would become. This is the Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C., and on it you see the words from the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Not everyone was equal in colonial America. Women, slaves, free blacks, servants, and apprentices all had less rights under the law than did white, free, property-owning, married men. And the language of the revolution and the rhetoric of the revolution is going to start to be used by these groups to question the authority of their superiors. Every state adopted new constitutions either during or after the revolution. All of these constitutions looked different, but one common theme was they all set up republican governments. Republican governments are the belief that power is derived from the consent of the governed and not from hereditary means such as a king or an aristocracy. Most states set up two-house legislatures with the wealthy represented in the upper house and the ordinary citizenry represented in the lower house. A big question was who would vote. Conservatives wanted to restrict voting rights to only property owners, and this happens in southern states such as Virginia and South Carolina. Leading colonists associated democracy with disorder and mob rule. They believed that the vote should be restricted to those who owned property and paid taxes. The belief was that if you owned property and paid taxes, it was believed that you were a committed member of the community and independent enough to vote. While the revolution did expand voting rights, universal male suffrage was not established in this time period, and only Vermont did not require voters to own property or pay taxes. By 1790, all states eliminated religious requirements for voting, and when this happened, 60 to 70% of adult white men could vote. During this period of time, 7 states allowed free African Americans to vote. Universal manhood suffrage is not going to happen until around the 1828 election with the 7th President of the United States, Andrew Jackson. Jacksonian democracy is often associated with universal male suffrage, but once again, he's the 7th President of the United States, and we're still talking pre-George Washington. As you can see from these two pictures, this question of who would vote is going to be a major theme throughout U.S. history as we discuss the women's suffrage movement and also African Americans fighting for their right to vote. The revolution expanded religious freedom. Before the revolution, most colonies supported churches with public funding and discriminated against Catholics, Jews, dissenting Protestants when it came to holding elected office and voting. This is a famous painting about the surrender at the Battle of Saratoga. The British surrender at the Battle of Saratoga is one of the things that led to the French entering into an alliance with the American colonies. This alliance with the Catholic nation of France proved essential to victory in the American Revolution. And because a Catholic nation had played such a large role in helping America win its independence, it helped to weaken the deep anti-Catholicism in colonial America, although it did not end anti-Catholicism in the United States. Revolutionary leaders wanted to separate church and state in hopes of avoiding the religious-driven political conflict that had ravaged Europe for centuries. In order to protect churches from the corruption of government, states cut off public funding. One of the leading revolutionary leaders when it came to freedom of religion was Thomas Jefferson, who in 1779 wrote a bill for establishing religious freedom for the Virginia legislature. The bill was heavily debated, but when it was finally passed in 1786, it eliminated religious requirements for voting in office holding. If you look at the picture, that picture is Jefferson's gravesite, and on his grave he only wanted 3 things written. He wanted the author of the Declaration of Independence, that he was the father of the University of Virginia, and the third thing was that he wrote this statue of Virginia for religious freedom. Notice it says nothing about being the President of the United States, the 3rd President of the United States. Revolutionary leaders did view religion as important, and they viewed it as the foundation of morality in the Republic, that religion would help create virtuous citizens who loved their family, community, and nation. The revolution also helped bring an end to apprenticeships and indentured servants as white men demanded their economic freedom. And we see indentured servitude and apprenticeships replaced in the North with wage labor. And this is going to create 2 very distinct economies and societies in the United States. The North being an economy and society that's based on wage labor and shop owners and small farmers, and the South being an economy and society that is dominated by slave labor and slave owners. And this picture is a census in 1860 of slave-owning states. In red, you can see the states that had the most slaves in 1860, Florida, Alabama, North Carolina, and Virginia. And then the green states at the top are northern states that were free states. Of course, in 1860, Abraham Lincoln is going to be elected, which is going to lead to the Civil War. So these 2 distinct economies and societies that are formed are eventually going to lead the nation into civil war.